Hello guys. I'll start with something easy. Gotta get the blood flowing. Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can zoom my camera out a bit. I zoomed it in originally, but I feel like it's a little bit too close now. When I look over, I'm like, I feel like it's doesn't look right. Dude, I can zoom it so much too. Goddamn. Okay, maybe that's better. Oh, now way to the side, huh? There we go. Fixed. Hey, what's up? I feel pain. Good to see you, man. Hmm. My bottle smells. I had to buy a new bottle. Right. I still fully haven't decided what I actually like on Hercules the most. I think Warrior's Act is nice because you want to be tanky, but it just kind of feels bad in laning not having boost on. Especially with a kind of already very awkward clear with the longest cooldowns. I'll need to probably try out more builds eventually. I've kind of just been sticking with the same build on Hercules. Actually, maybe that's not entirely true. Maybe I'll try... what's it called? Golden Blade on Hercules. Since I did have a conversation on stream yesterday about that. Might be worth it. Camera, it's off. I'm not in the middle and it bothers me. I'll have to fix that after.
Minions have spawned.
Level 1 is interesting. Or the 2 on Mortude. Wouldn't have expected that. I shouldn't have been that far up either. Gotta wait till my cooldowns are a bit easier to deal with before I can fight Mortude.
First blood. An enemy has been slain. Engine block. Double kill.
Damn it. I could have pushed him anyway, I guess. Actually wouldn't have mattered.
Your left tower is under attack. Bring the pain. Enemy missing.
I'm wasting a lot of pots here as well. I'm playing this pretty bad.
Bring it on.
Realistically, I just gotta stay back and let him clear.
An ally has been slain.
This matchup realistically isn't that bad going into late game, but it's way too hard with the long cooldowns for Hercules early. For some reason I thought Loki was level 5. I got scared. I might actually been able to do something. I can't really fight right now. I have legitimately a full wave. I can't fight, man.
Your middle tower. Slain an enemy. Bring the pain.
I just need level 5, then it's fine.
A fine fight that was. Okay.
What just happened with the ult there? The fuck? What happened to the Thana's ult? Didn't he just go from fire to... What? Alright, whatever.
An ally has been slain.
Please. Enemy missing middle.
I suck.
Your middle tower is under attack.
That was up again. That's wild. Why are you here? This fucking wave, man. Come back! I need you. It's gotta go Mystic on Mill first. Makes sense. I don't know why I dashed, I'm not gonna lie.
Enemies incoming right.
No. Oh well.
Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain.
It's that Minotaur. Did mine die? Where did mine go?
Bring the pain.
Why is his alive?
Out of the ring rips you up. Your left tower is under attack.
Sultan matchup, like I know it very well from Mordred's side. I don't know it very well from Hercules' side, so this is nice for me as well, playing into it. I don't need it to see it from this side.
Your left tower is under attack.
Alright, should help a lot getting some protection here as well. I don't want it back yet.
Missing middle. On my way.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill.
Counter their curses. Your honor is mine.
That's fine, I'll take this then.
Enemy ultimate down.
I'm just gonna go back to lane. We're being a little too aggressive here. I'll just make sure that I can maybe build a bigger lead. If Mordred sticks around a minute.
Killing spree. Shut down.
Be careful, right.
Killing spree.
I should start winning the lane now. Unless I do shit like that. And Loki's here too. That's great. Terribly played by me, and unfortunate timing that Loki showed up. I gotta warm up. What the fuck was that?
Your right tower is under attack. An ally has been slain.
We're just giving free kills for Loki right now. This is stupid.
Attack middle lane.
We gotta chill a bit.
Enemy missing left. Enemy missing left is under attack.
Like, I don't think Mordred would rotate here. I think he would just do our buffs, but
An enemy has been slain.
yeah.
Bring the pain.
In case he might be rotating though, I'm just gonna stick around.
Attack.
Yeah. We're taking some really stupid fights right now. I do need some cooldown badly though. I'm going for a very aggressive build. What do I need though? I could just do Genji's. Genji's was nerfed as well though. I don't even feel like Genji's is that worth it anymore. Probably just go pure purification for the cooldown on that. And I don't think I'll be leaving my lane much at this point. I'm falling too far behind, or I will end up falling too far behind. It's only because Mordred is rotating as much as I am. Why is Loki here again? Like, legitimately. What the fuck are you here?
Ultimate is down.
Enemies in the left lane.
Dude, what the fuck is this? I don't want to lose this game, not when Loki's doing shit like this.
Enemy ultimate down.
Your right tower is under attack.
Ultimate is down.
It does mean I have to play way more passive though. He's got Glad Shield as well.
Enemies at the gold. Be careful. Be careful.
Oh, my cooldowns, man. My cooldowns are so bad, I can't fight him because of it. His cooldowns are just up way more than mine. I hate this build.
An ally has been slain.
I should have stole it.
Ally has been slain.
I'm dead. Yeah. I need cooldown so badly. Maybe I should just go Glad Shield as well here. I'm getting destroyed. Mordred is playing well, but the Loki being here more often than not was the biggest problem. In the moments where I did win my exchanges, Loki just showed up, made sure that I died for it. It's annoying. Oh, solo kill.
Left tower.
Good Jimmy wall.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Yeah, it was not. I blocked myself. Help.
An ally has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh, look who's here again.
Bring the pain. Your middle tower is under attack.
That's crazy, man.
Bring the pain. Enemy missing left. Outflank. Bring it on.
Ultimate is down.
Your right tower is under attack.
Not going very well. I think that's 1-9 as well.
Is under attack. Your left tower is under attack.
I should have been playing my lane much better though than I have. So part of it is on me as well. I feel like Emmanuel is kind of just on his own at the moment.
Enemies in middle lane.
Your middle tower is under attack. The enemy team has destroyed.
I'm glad I did try this build though, even though I think it sucks for the most part.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill.
But I did want to try it.
Killing spree. Shut down.
Also, obviously doesn't help them against Mordred, because Mordred is kind of... It's a big lane bully. Which I think is Hercules' worst nightmare right now. He's just so reliant on cooldown now, after the nerfs.
Enemy missing left.
Dude, his ult was back up again? What the fuck, man? There's something wrong with Mordred. Mordred's broken, what the fuck is that? He literally just ulted after me and he just ulted once again. That's wild.
Your middle tower is under attack. An ally has been slain. Double kill.
Be right back.
Right there is what realistically this matchup should have been more like. I should have been tanky enough to fight him, and then still have to sustain on him. But because I decided to go Golden Blade first, I just don't think that works. Golden Blade might be nice into some matchups as Hercules, but I think going Golden Blade into something that has more pressure than you early will just make it easier for them to keep that pressure. Because you're just gonna instantly be much less squishy.
Welcome you.
How the fuck?
An ally has been slain.
That's his ult.
Enemy ultimate down. Your left tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Power fighter. Enemy missing left. Be careful. I sense your fear. You are no match.
Oh, he's here. Dude, this Loki! Why is he here so often, man? It's been a while since he was here, but still.
Bring the pain.
Do you actually want to fight me so badly though? We gotta get something here. Just something, man. Just something.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
We're so far behind in XP, it's actually crazy. Damn. Jingwei though. I think I played that alright. Loki's ult was already back up. I don't fucking believe it, man. I just made him ult out. He came back with ult. That's the only reason why I decided to fight back. I thought Loki's ult was down. But, oh well. I absolutely hate my build, but I want more cooldown too. So I don't know what to build. Like, I might just do more breastplate, or more breastplate, another breastplate. I think, because normally I would have had breastplate here.
An ally has been slain. Help, help, help. Killing spree.
Okay, enemy missing left.
Quiet. Alpha double kill.
What do you mean missing left, man? Of course he's here. 'Cause I'm fucking not... I'm dead. Dude's gonna be anywhere.
Your left tower is under attack. I sense your fear. Your left tower is under attack. The enemy team has destroyed the great enemy. I sense your fear.
Oh well. We're just so far behind in XP, I don't think it matters. Well, Jingwei has a chance to carry us, I guess, but even Emmanuel has fallen so super far behind in XP. I don't really trust Akate or Athena here to do much in this late game. Akate is too busy whining about someone, like people missing, instead of just focusing on the game.
Is under attack.
It's pretty natural for people to be roaming at this point. No, he's dead. Oh, maybe not. No, he's dead.
Wherever there are gods in need.
Oh boy.
Has been slain. Double kill.
Jingwei.
Ultimate is ready.
Go away, man. That's unfortunate. Emmanuel missed ult there. I even pulled in the on her. If he landed on her, I think on her dies.
Yes.
Unfortunate.
Ultimate is ready. Wherever there are gods in need.
At least I'm kind of getting the feeling. Oh my god, dude.
Destroyed the fire.
I feel like people are letting the Mordred make it out a little too easy with this. Like, these guys grouping up for the Mordred ultimate? Are you kidding me, dude?
Curses.
Can't do that.
Your middle tower has been
I also need to look at Voice Shield more. I gotta buy it.
Your middle phoenix is under attack.
Did get a small buff. Heal them off. Kill them.
Your Titan is under attack.
Fight. Stand your
I think we kind of lose anyway. Titan is so low, man. But maybe we can defend it off. We just need some wards. I finally got some assists though.
The enemy team has destroyed the
It's been a tragically bad first game. Hercules feels just as bad as in Smite 1 when you fall behind. You literally can't do anything. The one thing he's really good at is picking off people. But the problem has just been we haven't been able to kill anyone that I have picked on. Like, I grabbed on her in that last team fight, but we obviously was just kind of having to defend the Titan at the time. Just kind of making it tough to one-shot the targets that I'm pulling in.
enemy spotted. I'll cut you down.
I don't think he has enough damage to kill it alone.
Your Titan is under attack. Killing spree.
Dude, the Titan does not heal by getting attacked though. That's real bad. Or getting leeched, I guess is a better word for it. Modred could just ult in though. Yikes. I just won 20. It's not looking too good here, boys. Looking kinda cooked. Alright, at least I'm 20. Spirit Rope is gonna help me a lot here as well.
Your right tower is under attack. Your right tower has been destroyed.
Nah, he's going in for it. We couldn't have done anything. Like, the Titan heals atrociously bad. It's actually kind of sad how little it heals. Because in Smite 1, right there, like, Loki would kind of fuck them a bit by going in there. Because it would have healed the Titan by getting leeched again. But that was not the case. Unfortunately. Yeah, I'm definitely debating the Hercules matchup though, with Mordred. I'm trying to think what I should have done differently. I think build-wise is the only thing, honestly, that would have been better. I think if I just went Mystical instead of Golden Blade, I think the matchup would have been completely different. Because he wouldn't have been able to just poke me out as much as he did. Golden Blade gives me 0 protection. And no HP. Well, it's like 150 HP or something like that. By going Golden Blade, I'm just kind of allowing him to be more aggressive with me than he should be allowed to. So I might try the Hercules again, but probably not this next game. I want to play something else. I definitely gave up my lane way more than I ever should have. Oh no, this is not good. Anything but jungle, thank you very much. My jungle is kind of tragic. I mean, I would rather jungle than support, I think, but my jungle is real bad. I guess I'll try though. I don't know, man. Might just try for the Athena and just be supportive. I'll do Thana. Not a whole lot of junglers I know how to play. At least Thana is something I've done in casuals and stuff, so I know kind of how to play him, but... Oh no, their comp is not making it easy for a Thanatos. I have regrets. I should have gone Athena. I mean, I'll probably fuck this up either way. I'm not a good jungler. But I will do my best. Might be in a taunt game, a beats game rather. It's either that or Blink. I could do Sunter as well. Just because they do have 3 tanks, essentially. Sunter would help out on that. Yeah, I'll do Blink. See if I can try and stay more safe. Do I want early cooldown or... Yeah, I'll probably just rush some cooldown.
I thirst only for death, but I'll save this for later. Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Victory. Minions have spawned.
It'll probably be fine. I don't know who we're with though. I don't recognize the names.
Escape death. Be careful, middle. Enemy spotted.
Maybe I should check the rep up, I guess. A shell? Unfortunate, man. I feel like that should have been a kill, no matter what. But he had shell. Is this gankable?
An enemy has been slain.
Run from your fate.
Dude, they... Honor was ready. What the fuck, man? He just knew. They must have known. I don't know. I'm still unsure how far duo can see into the jungle. It's so unreliable with the new jungle system or the new fog of war. I don't know it too well. Only on the solo side.
Attack the Titan. An enemy has been slain. I'll cut you down. Killing
Damn.
spree.
Alright. Cleano kind of cleaning over there. Every time I try to gank, or every time I want to gank,
Thanks. Your ally has been slain. Good work.
Cleano just killed him. Cleano's kind of ruining my job right now, to be honest.
Attack the Titan. Okay.
I'm just farming. Probably should be helping out on left right now, though.
Has been slain. Gank. I'll cut you down. Good luck. Your left tower is under attack. No problem. Killing spree. Good game.
Wait, Athena has all their kills? Isn't Athena the support? She is. Alright. I guess I'll bitch back here.
Death grip grows stronger. Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
unfortunate.
Has been slain.
Athena with another kill. I kinda got my name on the board though, so that's nice.
Your souls to me.
I do not know why Bacchus jumped back in. I will say that.
Attack the Titan.
It's certainly risky.
Your left tower is under attack. Completed. That's too bad.
I wanted to go for it.
Escape death. Gank. Ultimate is down. Too bad.
Gank! That is very nice.
I'm hitting my ones at least. That's good.
Take this jungle buff.
Yes. Enemies incoming.
Be still.
Slain an enemy. A heroic effort. You're killing it.
I was actually getting a little scared there. I'm not sure where my one went. I thought I hit my one when she ulted, but it might have just done no damage. I'm unsure of what happened to it.
Okay. Your life stream. An ally has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemies in the left jungle.
Your souls to me. Enemies in left lane.
4 people here.
Yes.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemies at the Gold Fury.
But get one of them at least.
Attack the Gold Fury. Good luck. Your left tower is under attack.
Didn't even need to blink out. I thought they were gonna go way more in. Could've just turned. I'm just dead. Damn.
Your right tower is under attack.
It's unfortunate. They just went all in on me and there wasn't really a whole lot of peeling happening. Dude, what the hell do junglers build? I guess I'll build brawlers just for armor, as well as I guess just armor, pretty much. I don't know what else to build. Aelakane. It's not actually it's not that rare. I played a lot in casuals, but in ranked, he's kind of just my go-to jungler. It's like the Kukulkan is for me in mid. It's just my.
On my way.
Ah, he's cooked.
Has been slain. That's too bad. The pyromancer has arrived. Your middle tower is under attack. On my way. Your right tower is under attack.
Rare to see me actually played in ranked is. Yeah, I agree.
Is under attack.
Excuse me? Did she just dash through the wall?
Your right tower is under attack. Okay.
I'm gonna wait.
Gank left lane.
What the fuck?
You can't run.
Oh, okay, dude. Do they just have wards everywhere? What the fuck, man? That's tragic. They just always know where I am.
Yes.
Being a jungler sucks. I hate this role. Get me out of it. Ooh, good shit. Nice. People always trying to kill me. I hate it. Just leave me alone. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm keeping all of us safe from harpies and shit.
Your life streams. On my way. There your souls.
I'm also very lucky at the moment that they have Bacchus jungle.
Be careful. Enemy missing left. Enemy incoming. An enemy has been slain.
Ow.
Your souls to me.
Oh, Amma. We're also just kind of missing everything here, unfortunately. Dude, what do I build? I don't know. I know this was buffed. I'm building this.
Your souls to me. On my way. Gank! An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
My legacy shall endure.
I'm getting into civil spade diesel.
Okay, it's just blink as well. I'll take it.
Attack fire giant. Attack fire giant. Attack the gold fury. Gank. On my way. Enemy ultimate down. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain. I'll cut you down. Attack the gold fury. Missing middle. Your team has destroyed the gold fury.
It's a fast Zeus with speed buff, man. Hey Benji, thank you so much for the resub. I really appreciate it.
Your right tower is under attack.
This battle.
Killing spree.
Waters brim in excitement.
Your right tower is under attack. Destroy the left enemy tower.
Dude, I don't actually know. Like, what do you build? I feel like junglers don't have a whole lot of items.
Sorry. No problem.
Like, what the fuck am I supposed to build? Where are you going?
Shut me middle.
Oof. I knew it was a risk landing, just because of the taunt, but goddamn. Also felt like I needed to.
Killing spree. Have fun. Your right tower is under attack. under attack.
Best.
No.
Be careful.
Dude, Chain Lightning is not okay, man.
Defend the Gold Fury.
How is a Chain Lightning so broken? I can't be the only one who thinks that, right?
Your left tower is under attack. Attack left lane. An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Power.
I'm out. Like, I should have been the one to back to deal with on her, I think. Colonel should have stayed.
Attack defend the Gold Fury. Cancel that. Okay. On my way. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Good steal.
Killing spree. Souls to me. Attack the fire giant. Yes. Nice.
My 3 did a lot more damage to suit than I expected.
Destroyed the fire giant. With this, I will see the living. Your team has destroyed the pyromancer. They're your souls to me.
Damn it. Auto attack cancelling is harder on a Thana in Smite 2, I feel like.
Be right back. Enemy ultimate down.
Sucks that I had to blink. Felt like I needed to go for that though if I could. I just missed my one like an idiot. Or well, it's pretty easy ability to miss, but if I hit that, I have the chance to actually kill him.
I'll cut you down.
Dude, his ult was back up as well? That's wild. He just used it on me, dude. What the fuck? Cooldowns are not alright in Smite 2.
Double kill.
Asaph. No best. Oh best? Oh best G? Skills down with the ranked as well. That's crazy. How's the games? Last one was pretty tough. I kind of played like shit, and I was somewhat slightly camped by Loki as well, which made it a lot more unfun. But this one was alright. I was kind of forced into jungle, but it went fine because they had a Bacchus jungle who wasn't really doing much, so that's kind of the only reason why I think it went so well for me. At least I worded the most. I did not. Wrong one. I did not word the most. It was an alright game. I could have played worse, but I also think I could have played a lot better in that game. No, enjoying Smite 2? I am, yeah. I think Smite 2 still feels better than Smite 1 in some cases, or in the majority of cases. Some cases not. Like Honorary, as an example, is not an upgrade from the Smite 1 version, but someone like Hercules, I think, is. I think Hercules feels a lot better, Ymir feels a lot better, Neith. Yeah, Cleaner carrying, he definitely carried that game. Yeah. He played very well. He was just kind of raid bossing. And I think the only target that could kill him was never on him, which is on her. And if he was, then I guess he was just unkillable. Yeah. Yeah, what is his ult cooldown in general? Yeah, 90 going down to 70. Yeah, so I mean that's gonna be like a 30-second ult if he has full cooldown. Well, full cooldown being the usual cooldown items. And thank you, Obest. I appreciate it. Yeah, I do think the hybrid build is a nice thing to Smite too. It makes a lot more variety. Like you see it in someone like Amaterasu. Amaterasu is both really good with attack speed, strength builds, as well as intelligence full damage, like burst builds. And it's really cool. I like it a lot. Usually in Smite 1, like theory crafting for builds and stuff wasn't a big deal, because you were very limited to what items the god could use. Now there's a crazy amount. And you constantly see some, like people figuring out new things. It's great. Yeah, and I 100% agree. I think hybrid builds makes things a lot more interesting. You want to trade, Emmanuel? I assume you want mid. Yeah, mage armor does a lot of damage, like to an unfair extent. We got the W's though. The hurt ban. Yeah, I don't really know what they could do to really nerf armor, because I feel like her whole kit is super good. Like, the only somewhat balanced thing I would say is her dash. The old arguably does way too much base damage, I think. Like, you could build full tank, and that thing is still gonna half HP like a mage late game. Her 2 definitely has the potential to scale way too hard. And her 1 just heals too much, I think. It heals way too much. Like, considering how good intelligence is on her, getting her a 1 to super high healing is not hard. You can easily just do that. And if you combine it with cooldown as well, you can just use it all the time. Her sustain is unreal. Maybe what they could do is just remove the shield on the movement speed stance. Like, I don't know why it gets a shield anyway. I feel like that should have never been added. She doesn't need that shield. She's got the healing already. Today I'm really going outside of my comfort zone. Because I usually don't only like I've only played solo in Smite 2. I'm very, very uncomfortable in other roles right now. I think I can do a better mid, but that's because mid is honestly right now the easiest role, I'm not gonna lie. In mid, you just clear the fucking waves. And then you wait for the jungler to show up for the camps and stuff, you help him out, and then you go back to your lane. And that's literally it. But like the majority of the time. Like the hardest part in mid, obviously, is that you can get a lot of focus, because you're in the center of everything. So like the jungler and the support will be visiting you quite a bit, but overall I think it's probably the easiest role to deal with. But my point being, me in jungle and ADC right now are very, very rusty. And I don't really fully know what the fuck I'm doing. Is this a Beats game or a Blink game? I'm kind of tempted to go Blink. Because I think even if I Beats, I'm probably dead half the time against that comp anyway. Like, I don't think... Is Aegis the way to go? Aegis could be fine.
Yes.
It's never a Beats game. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. I do think it is a Beats game sometimes if you're like a Susano into an Ares. Otherwise you might be cooked. You gotta have some very trustworthy allies to make that work.
Of course I have heard of you.
I don't know.
Well known for your
Aegis just... I prefer Blink here, but Aegis with the low cooldown just makes it way more worth it in general, I think, but... Whatever.
Trinket? Have fun now.
I did have one Jingwei ADC game yesterday though, which went just fine, so... Also, I have Son Gohan with me here with a Radiant Bacchus. I feel safe. I'm sure it'll be just fine.
Minions have
Think
spawned.
nothing of it.
No problem.
Yes.
I mean, I think mid is... Yeah, I mean... Yeah, mid is easy if you're doing fine. I think, in general, everyone... At least, same thing with solo. I'm gonna get fucked as well. I'm gonna get fucked as well if the duo is getting screwed, because then I'll be visited by support all the time because of the teleporters. So I think that goes for almost any role. Whoops. Did not mean to be tanking that, but whatever. Ice Silenced and Snotty. Probably not the best game for the Rusty ADC, but it's alright, I suppose.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Glory to Athens. I'll gank left lane.
Attack left.
Attack. Turn and fight.
Oh. That was super scuffed. But I appreciate the donation, Snotty.
to Athens.
Yes.
Okay. Be careful, middle. Thanks.
Be right back.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's feeling a little cooked. I'll grab a ward, because otherwise that might just keep happening. Where is our jungler right now? Oh, Athena was there. That's-
Peekaboo, I see you.
Dude, Yemoja's damage is wild. Fuck me.
No.
I shouldn't have chased, I guess. I didn't think she was just gonna 100 to 0 me, basically. I don't really think the creeps did a whole lot. But I don't really know.
Careful, middle. I help those
No, I think this was
who
creep
need us.
damage. I'm not sure. The T-screen still confuses me.
Enemy ultimate down.
Still, that was silly.
Away we go.
Ah, someone just did this. Yemoja did.
Ultimate is ready.
Don't think we should have given that up.
Retreat.
I'm not following you, man. We have a full wave and a Susano coming in. I do not like that call.
Stand your ground. I'll attack.
Well, this is this is so messy. Dude, man. Klino ran straight. I tried to time it with my one, and then he turned to me, and we just completely missed. On top of that, the gank before that was just silly and not good.
Enemy missing middle. Thanks.
I think it's Jover, if I have to be honest with you. It's a little Jover. Man, I missed my one. blink.
Wherever there are gods in me.
Dude, does everyone have fucking blink? Yeah, everyone has fucking blink. Blink's back, boys.
An enemy has been slain.
Yeah, I'm ready for Cleano. He's gonna be here. I'm being baited. And I know it. I'm prepared for it. What's happening? Is he baiting me or not? Or is he just doing weird shit? Completely wasted his ult. I don't know what's happening anymore. But I'm bagging. Honestly, I just want to farm. Like, a lot of people seem to want to gank duo right now. I really don't want that to happen. Leave me alone. I'm Jing Wei. I'll be there later anyway. Just let me farm. The ult does auto lock, I think. But maybe it's glitched or something. I don't know. Like, it's either glitched with the auto locking, or it's maybe just doesn't help when you're going to stealth. I don't know. The bushes might counter the Danza ult. I have no idea. I've seen so little Danza, I don't know if there's anything wrong with him.
Be careful, middle. It is
I do not know.
learning so many new things.
Dude, that's such an... Dude, Bacchus, come on, man. Just come down. I'm trying to clear the way, but Bacchus keeps running up. Stop. The wave will clear itself. Chill.
An enemy has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Oh.
Be careful, middle. I help those who do their best. You are as wise as you are strong. Wherever there are gods in me, I'll be there.
Block for me, Athena. No, dude. Okay, man. I don't trust Athena or Bacchus at all. It's tough. Actually, I think that would have been really good, but Yamoja and Danza here should have died, I think. I think we would have died either way, Susano coming in, but we should have had them. But I mean, the Athena is also 0 and 5, so that doesn't help. I can't really blame anyone for this. We're against good players. Not really much to do about it. I do need Bacchus to stay back a bit though. We're losing lane harder than we should, just because Bacchus is taking too much poke. Dude, is Danza fucking invisible? What's happening with me being unable to see him? Am I blind? I guess the tower doesn't see his leaf form, I'm guessing. Maybe that's it. I'll go defend mid, I guess.
Enemy missing middle.
Has a 4-level lead. I don't want to be here. I don't want to deal with the Anubis being 5 levels higher than me. Or 4.
Thanks. You are as wise as you are strong.
Your right tower is under attack.
I also do not know the support meta right now. Should he still be with me? Or am I crazy? I got him at least. They should be able to just get a tower here.
Completed.
I did forget to pop my thing again, Dagger Frenzy. Dude, I haven't built this item in so long. I got used to it. Now I've forgotten how to use it again. Now I have to rememorize. Get the muscle memory going again.
New things.
That's too bad.
Yes. Have fun.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury. Your left tower is under attack.
But like, I can definitely deal with Danza at this point. Just with everyone else around makes it a bit harder.
Ultimate is down. Be careful. Thanks.
Help middle lane. Retreat left lane.
Yes.
Okay, so that hits no matter what. It does lock on. I tested it for you guys. Don't worry about it.
An enemy has been slain.
Ultimate is ready.
Attack the Gold Fury.
Cancel that. Attack Fire Giant.
I tried to run around it. It looks like you cannot bait it the same way you did in Smite 1.
Enemy missing left.
Is under attack.
Peekaboo, I see you.
Rampage. Your team has destroyed the pyramid. An ally has been slain.
Hello. Hello.
An ally has been slain.
Hello.
Dude. I'm cooked. Dude, he's 4 levels higher than me as well.
Towers under attack.
I don't know how that went so wrong.
Your middle tower has been destroyed.
Whoever told me to build Dagger Frenzy second, I disagree. I don't like this item second. At least on Jingwei. I can see it on other gods like on her for sure. I need to stop trying builds and just build what I know. I still think the Xe into either crit or Titans is better for Jingwei. And then going for a really late Dagger Frenzy maybe it would be fine, but second feels awkward on her. Well, maybe I'm blaming the items here when I shouldn't, because it's obviously just because the fact that Anubis is kind of really big. And I cannot deal with it. Okay. Well, that was a really awkward exchange. I got knocked up into the stun. They did use everything on me though, so that's good.
It is wise to listen instead of speaking.
Well done.
Nice job.
It's a good exchange. Yeah, we were lucky that... I guess we're actually pretty lucky that Yamoja's building some damage. Because Yamoja just died. That was good.
We need wards.
Awesome. Awesome.
Glory to Athens!
Attack.
Group up.
Oh, okay, dude. I mean, I'll take the trade, right? But we'll see what happens. It's not looking too good anymore. I thought they stopped chasing, so I was gonna go back in, then Hades. We were just hiding behind the rock.
Completed.
I think he fights this. Good for you.
Ultimate is down.
I'm just level 16, like I need to farm. But that's just constant fighting happening. I'm gonna have Deathbringer super late in this game.
Ready.
It's not gonna feel good.
It is tiring. Always learning new things.
Juicy wave.
Defend the gold.
Awkward.
Ultimate is ready. I'll gank left lane.
Yes.
Enemy spotted.
Thank you.
I'm not critting, man. Fucking crit impossible. I'll defend that.
Attack the gold fury.
Going up.
An ally has been slain.
Requesting mid lanes.
Destroyed a middle enemy tower. Your right tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
Okay, dude. Well. Why would they be there? I guess they backed. Think I'll do Deathbringer over Titans in this one. Yeah, the squads might be worth it here. Also, Athena needs to shut the fuck up. I don't even know who this guy is. But he keeps spamming everyone when they die, when he's the one who's doing the shittiest. I need him to shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. Also, our wards are atrocious this game, I'm not gonna lie.
Time to turn this battle.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Get him. He's so low. Alright, well done. We're fighting a little too much here, guys. I think we got 1 or 2 really good picks. We should have gotten the fuck out. Alright. We're fighting into Fire Giant. We need to be more careful. We really do. Still think we have one more chance. Like, they could maybe end here. They have 20 seconds. Barcos won't be able to defend by himself. So, they might end. Like, they're all really squishy. Like, literally none of them are full tank. I feel like we should be winning these exchanges if we were grouped as 5. It's just we're never grouped as 5. They're always the ones rotating on us and getting picks. And I'm always the first one to die, because there is no peeling. 3-minute pause is crazy. It is, yeah. It's pretty long. It definitely is pretty long. I think that's all right, though. Like 2 or 3 minutes, just fine. I really hope I get solo next game, though. I want to play solo. And at least if not solo, I'm okay with mid. I'll take mid. But I think ADC and jungle are so boring right now. I'd rather not play them. I guess the same thing kind of goes for support. But at least in support I play a frontline. I know what I'm doing if I play frontline.
An enemy has returned.
Yeah, if it wasn't 3 minutes, he wouldn't have made it back in time. Clean. That's time made me pause. My team pause and still 1 minute to start. I think something that is potentially bad with a 3 minute pause is that people might. I mean, this is a people problem, but people might just go AFK. Like some people might just go and do something because they think it's like 3 minutes is a long time, then realize it's actually not that long time. Let's see. No, I don't think they can end. They don't have enough minions for it, and they don't really have a big Titan killer or objective killer. So, but losing a Phoenix still sucks, obviously. I would like Deathbringer before the next fight. I'm not sure why Athena walked up, to be honest. We knew they were gonna be around right, or left, rather.
Attack right lane. Your team has destroyed a right enemy. Your left tower has been destroyed.
I literally have nothing, so Son blew everything I had, so...
It's time to turn this battle in our favor.
Taunt! Ah, man. It did take them a little too long to do something in right, I will say. I think the right call was fine, but we didn't even get the Phoenix when they rolled the Titan the whole time. But whatever. I think we would have probably lost this game either way. Unfortunate. Dude, I don't want to see this at all. Mr. Support. Mr. Radiant Bacchus. Buy wards. It was one of the big reasons why this game went as bad as it did. Our vision was terrible. They were rotating on us the whole time and we never knew where any of them were. Don't underestimate wards. Wards win games. Abagas ins every game. I think he played fine for the most part. I really do. I think he played just fine, but he needs to buy some fucking wards. And he needs to peel a little bit more as well. He likes being very aggressive. That is my constructive criticism. You seem good mechanically. Peel more, less fighting, and at least in lane. Too much unnecessary poke. But I think you played fine. More wards. Thanks. Also, leave lane earlier. As a Jing Wei, I can shit on the dancer somewhat easily. The only issue ended up being that I ended up falling so far behind that I wasn't able to box him very well anymore. I will also take some blame because my build sucked. I should have had crit earlier and pen earlier, but instead I went Dagger of Frenzy, which I think is not a good buy on Jing Wei. I will stand by that. Unless you're very confident in your 1v1ing early. Which you definitely are as Jing Wei. It's not bad, but... I just don't think it's as good. The only reasoning is you want to get crit early, like as early as possible, right? Dagger Offensive will delay that. No. You have not earned my trust, Susano Link, with your constant blaming. So, no. I'll ban the Hercules in case we're against Clino. I cannot be asked to deal with it. I could do armor. I think I'll do armor. I'll try hard for one game, I guess. I was thinking something else, though. I wanted to play Mordred. We did leave Fenrir open, which is kind of stupid. I will take some blame for that. I'm against you, Dutch. You're playing the Zeus? Man, that's a lot of magical. I hate it. Dude, what build should I go with here? I've usually, at least the last few days, been running the attack speed build. But, I don't know. Intelligence build here could be very nice. Because I don't think I'm winning a box into potentially Sol, Zeus. Maybe even Fenrir. No, honestly, I should win those. The only scary one I think is Zeus that I don't win against. And that's just because of Detonate. We'll see how the game goes. Since I'm against Mordred, I do think I want Death Toll though. Do I? Damn, my thinker is slow today. I need my brain to wake up. I'll do it. I'll just do this. I'll do some aggressive start here. I'll be the aggressor I was always meant to be.
Go forth and conquer! No. Slime
Attack the left lane.
Why did I get Susano Link again though? This person is hostile. They're mean. You need to spread love, not Warcraft. I'm not sure clear gets any faster than that. Like, I shouldn't lose any creeps as a result of it. It's kind of wild. Why did he back? Just for that? Interesting. I'll zone. At least if it's just a creep.
Okay. Feel my
I am terrible and I suck ass. That's actually just a kill right there if I hit it. I am angry at myself today. I'm playing like shit. I am still getting a lead, so it's not terrible, but
Your middle tower is under attack.
still, it's so unnecessary. Yep. I don't know what I'm doing, I guess. He didn't build any more damage. What did so much fucking damage to me, man? Creeps, I guess? Oh, and he's out too. That's unfortunate. I'm just gonna have to play it safe for now. If I want a lead for now, or at least an advantage, I gotta get Golden Blade online.
enemy missing. Be careful, right.
Another day goes by.
Cancel that.
Another day goes by.
Should be alright now. Now it's just about getting some more levels, so I can use sustain to my advantage. Yeah, it's another.
Oh yes!
Like, I'm not sad about dying to a good player necessarily either. It's just, I don't think I should have died there. It was tragic. Nah, and I don't really died. I also fucked up getting a kill on him. That's the worst part. I double fucked up.
Enemy has been slain.
Take this jungle buff.
I'll keep zoning a bit, even though this is a
Thanks.
No.
buffed wave on my end.
slain.
No problem. Enemies have returned. Attack the middle lane. Thanks. Bye.
He backs a lot. Like, it's fine since, well, in his case, he got a kill on me, makes it worth it for him. That being said, normally that's really bad. You don't want to back that often. And like right now, he's still here actually.
Is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Slain an enemy.
Enemy missing this. Left lane. Enemies incoming. Okay.
An ally has been slain.
There's another tilted. Don't be tilted. Alright, I'm gonna back off here.
Enemy spotted.
I'll do Mystical Mail as well. I've actually been liking this build. With Golden Blade and Mystical, even on Armor. It makes your boxing very, very powerful in lane.
Gank right lane.
And I like that.
Okay.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Enemy missing left. Enemy missing left.
An ally has been slain. Take the blood. You are no match.
Yeah, no, Armor is 100% the most annoying thing to deal with. I agree with you. I'm only picking it because I don't want to deal with it. It's that simple. There's too much shit to ban right now. I banned the Hercules, but normally I think I would have banned the Fenrir. I banned Hercules because I didn't want you to play it against me. I was like, fuck that. I was not in the mood to deal with a good Hercules, because that's also really annoying. Like, the top solos right now are so annoying to deal with.
Silence. Attack right lane. On my way.
Okay.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Be right back. Enemy spotted.
Yeah, Herc is alright, yeah.
Careful middle.
The thing is, Hercules is just as bad in Smite 1, or in Smite 2, as he is in Smite 1 if you fall behind. He feels terrible. But, if you get a lead, he's literally unstoppable.
Has been slain.
It's kinda crazy.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Like, my first game today as well, I played Hercules, it was not a good time. I got so far behind. I played like shit that game.
Missing. The lane.
And it was a terrible time. It was such a bad time.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Tragic. I let him get his own buff. How could I?
Okay. The mirror.
There's not really much to do there. Well, the thing is, if he kept running, I would have had to ult. So, he let me save my ult.
Your team has destroyed a
For a
left
new
enemy tower.
empire to arise.
I can't help it though, I have to win lane, you know? It's not going too well on the opposite side of the map. I kinda need to.
Your right tower is under attack.
He can't keep giving it to me either though, like he might win the game if he doesn't, you know? I accidentally pressed my 1-2 again.
Return to base.
They do have a lot of magic. I think I do need to do a Kusari or something along those lines.
Your middle tower.
Yeah, normally I have a hard time ignoring behavior like that, just because there's no accomplishment for me or satisfaction killing a player that's somewhat given up. But
Attack right lane.
like right now, I need to take what I can get, because
Need the jump shot.
they have a Fed
Vicious.
Baron of all things, which will make my life much harder as well. I'm taking what I can get,
Your middle tower is under attack.
preferably without getting it for free. That's a Zeus here.
Enemies in left lane. A shimmer.
An ally has been slain.
Oh, he's gone with big strats here. Well, I am very happy that I went for some protection against magicals, because what the fuck was that damage, man?
Tower is under attack.
Dude, Zeus is broken now. What a life we live in. Fuck my tower, I'm getting the buffs, otherwise we lose them.
Your left tower is under attack.
Retreat.
Okay. Wonderful.
An enemy has been slain. Your left tower is under attack.
Help.
No.
On my way. Okay. Thanks. Gank.
Enemy missing middle.
Got.
Yo, you got some of those minions?
Destroy the right enemy tower.
Attack the gold
I'll
fury.
defend the left lane.
Thanks.
I don't have anything, man.
Double kill.
That's crazy.
Killing spree.
I did not mean to press my 3 either. That was a bit of a mistake.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack. Killing spree.
Was this a... Dude, no. This wasn't a Baron ADC, right? No, it wasn't. Okay.
Take this jungle buff.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Another day
Attack
will
fire
pass.
giant. Attack fire giant. Group up.
Attack. All attack. Attack.
Oh, that was no tier 2 here. Whoops.
Dia or.
Alright. Tier 1.
Destroyed the pyramid. Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
Follow me.
I think my 2 is glitched. It keeps... sometimes it just insta-casts for some reason. And I don't know why. Because I'm not pressing it more than once sometimes. I'm sure I'm definitely double pressing it sometimes by accident, but...
Your right tower has been destroyed.
Ultimate is ready. I'll get
Should need to bomb this.
An enemy has been slain.
Unfortunate. I did not expect all 4 of them to be there, but that's my bad.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
How dull.
Well fought.
Let's not call attention to us. Regrettable. It's nothing.
Okay. Attack with full fury.
Quiet. Slime attack.
Forward, my creation. Battle, my children. I will.
Help.
I'll attack.
Dude. Dude. Chain Lightning is not okay, man. You saw that shit? Like, I'm serious. Chain Lightning is not okay. Oh man, I'm stupid. My ult's up soon though.
My children.
Dude.
Regrettable.
Curse it all.
I don't think I could have played that any worse. But also, once again, we don't have any fucking wards.
Hit me.
I'm having an off day. Like, at least compared to yesterday. Yesterday I felt like I had a great day. I don't trust my own mechanical skill today.
The pyro.
I also need to focus Zeus a lot more. I know what I forgot to build, man. Forgot to build Ferris Curse. That's what I should have had here instead of Berserkers.
Is under attack.
Mistakes were made. Damn it.
On my way.
That's why I'm having such a tough time sticking to my targets as well.
An enemy has been slain.
Feel my strength. On my way.
An enemy has been slain.
Well fought.
Gank middle lane.
Middle enemy tower.
Empire to arise. Empire to arise. Be careful. Attack. Fire. Help.
We can do it too, man. I can tank it.
Help. Help. Attack right now. You are.
Think we need to gank them. I'm just dead. I don't know what's new. What Nua's running around doing.
Evil shall be slain.
Interesting turning into Nuwa here, I think.
An enemy has been slain.
Considering it's an ADC Nuwa. Not the biggest burst you get out of that. Actually, never mind. I'll take everything back. I thought it was ADC. Oh well. Yeah, poor Benji. Having a tough time here. But being in games like this is the best way to learn. And for context, the Sol is my friend, my real life friend, who is somewhat new back to Smite. So nice.
ultimate is down.
Give it to me.
Your right tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack.
No Western Gold?
Your right tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. Your right tower is under attack.
Good in a pinch. On my way.
On my way. Yes.
I'll gank.
Slay an enemy. An enemy has been slain.
I don't think I can get anything here. Dude, Zeus is really fast. I should have gone to mid.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy Phoenix.
At least we're still mostly winning the exchanges. But it's hard to stick to targets when there's a Baron for me. Combined with me kind of playing really bad. So close to a 3k pot. I actually don't want it back.
Okay. Thanks. On my way.
Oh, they're all really low.
An enemy has been slain. Lives on.
Dude, Balonitude does a lot of damage when you build, well, damage.
My wisdom is unmet. No problem.
The Pyroman.
I wasn't even there for this fight. I can't take any credit. My team just smacked them.
Come on and hit me.
Yeah, it's my real life friend Dutch. He's somewhat new back to Smite, so he is slightly behind in terms of like experience up here. I played like shit this game. I'm not gonna lie. I'm disappointed. Yeah, it's kind of the result of Hi-Risk making a bad rank system. So stuff like that should even itself out as slightly more once a reset happens. But yeah, right now you're gonna have people who are a bit lower in terms of skill levels that are about as high as everyone else right now. Yeah, I mean it's a result of player numbers as well, but it's also currently a result of a reset not happening when the matchmaking has gotten as, I guess, specific as it has now. Because there simply just isn't enough players either to support that. It's a bit of both. I do think mostly it is player numbers though as well. But right now he's elo, like he's my real friend. Like I still talk to him, you know. So right now, yeah, we can swap here. Well, we can swap. I think we do this. Benji, be my support. I'll give Dodge mid. Dodge can mid. And then we can swap. See if this works out. I forgot where I was going with my thought process, but I'm sure you understand. Like all things considered, though, like speaking of just matchmaking in general, I do think matchmaking is as good as it's gonna get with the current player numbers. Hopefully, this is just maybe wishful thinking. I hope the marketing team can market the game enough by the time it gets to open beta, so that when the open beta lands, there will be more interest in the game. The thing is, this will change nothing for people like me or anyone else in this queue, because if it creates, you know, a new player base, it's going to be new players. But I still think it's obviously great for the game. But right, what am I picking here? I'm guessing I'm not playing Jingwei though. I was about to do. I almost dodged. Because this man just picked the Jingwei right in front of me. Now I kind of panic picked on her, which is not good. I should have went the Anubis. I screwed up. Thought you were a sub? Yeah, no worries, man. Don't worry about it. I'm not blaming you, I'm just having some fun with it. Even though I am not joking when I said Honor was not what I wanted to pick. Can't stand solo lane. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I also was mean to you as Amma. Trust me, even if you're main solo, you don't want to deal with Amma. Amma's a piece of shit. Yeah, I'm a bit of an Amma abuser, but I only do it because I don't want to deal with it. Because I feel like when I deal with it, I lose brain cells. She literally has everything. I'm not even joking. Well, he was connecting, I guess. That sucks. At least I don't have to lay on her. The slimy, gooey looking on her. Amma literally has everything. Like, if you legitimately think about it, what does she not have? She has great laning, great team fighting, like, just great late game in general, great objective damage. She's got great escapability. She's got CC in her ult, or CC immunity in her kit in general. Like, there's literally nothing she doesn't have. She has everything. If you go to someone like Hercules, you can at least be like, at least he has bad mobility. There you go. He's got bad something. Amma has bad nothing. It's not cool, man. She's too powerful. Now, I think removing her till the balancer is a bit much. They should do that for glitch gods like Baron right now. Maybe that would be a good idea, because Baron is glitched to fucking all hell right now. Like, when he glitches, it's real bad, because he double hits people. I do not know what the trigger is. Some people have said it's the passive. Once you get hit by the passive or some shit in a specific way, suddenly his abilities start double hitting you. That's not fun to deal with. That's straight up unintended. The thing is, Amma isn't even, like, I don't know, she might be the most OP god at the moment, but I'm not sure. Like, she's up there with Fenrir. I still think Fenrir is more broken than her. So, she is, in fact, not even number one. Like, Fenrir, Loki, Amma, Baron, probably the best gods in the game. Plus minus a few. Like, Bacchus is still very, very good. I think those are pretty much it. Like, right now, unironically, Zeus might be broken. I fucking hate how much Chain Lightning does. It's insane, man. A single good Chain Lightning can win you the team fight. It does so much damage. Though I think it doesn't matter a whole lot late game. It's actually mostly just in the base damage aspect of it. If you max Chain Lightning and you hit level 9 and that thing is rank 5, you're gonna two-shot people. 2 or 3-shot people with Chain Lightning, because it does like 350 damage or some shit like that. Even at level 9. It's wild. It happened to me yesterday, and I was so surprised by it. Also, what the fuck? Get me in. I want the one last game before I leave, but I do need to leave soon and start making some dinner. I don't want to cancel the search. I would like to not cancel the search. I think it's bugged. Yeah. I don't want it to bug even further by canceling it. Which happens sometimes as well. Am I doing it? Let's see. Yeah, I can't even cancel it. Nice. Alright. I guess we'll just sit here, enjoy the weather. I do need them to add statistics so I can see who I have, how much worshippers I have on every card. That'd be nice. I have to relog. I mean, if I have to close my game, I might just have to end the stream here. Let's see. I would like to do one game though. I would. I'll try. I'll try one last time. If it glitches again, I'll just stop. I'm satisfied for today. In terms of games and stream time, I am not very satisfied in my own ability today. I've been playing like shit. I need to warm up, I think, before I actually start doing ranked. I'm one of those people who just can't play right if I don't warm up. So if I have a bad first game, it just kind of lingers. That's bad for me. Also, streaming is unironically also kind of bad for me. Oh no, I am still in queue. Alright. I feel like fate is telling me to go make food and shower. Get me out. People just getting back in and out I feel like everyone needs to close their game with some shit. I guess, or whatever. I think that's just gonna be it then. It's not looking too clean. My queue bugged. I'll end it here. If you reload twice, you might break the loop. Is that just some kind of bait to make me stay? I'll try once again. One last time. I really do want to do one last game. I'm very unsatisfied. Even though I'll probably just play more ranked later in my own time. Because I do not think I'll be playing a whole lot of ranked during the weekend. Oh, okay. You were right. We're back in queue, boys. Get in. I still think a Kulkan is my second most played card. It's my two. I have a lot of rank 5s. But like nothing really beats Mordred so far. It's gonna take a while for anything to get close to Mordred. Herg is almost 5. Bologna is 5. I think all the solos, are actually 5. Even Chalk, man. I feel like I played no Chalk. I guess Amma is getting there as well. Amma might be my second most played after how OP she's gotten. Been playing her a pretty decent amount. Thana is arguably my least played. I haven't even played Athena. Athena and Yemoja will probably remain my least played gods. I tried her once, and I hated it. I don't like Yemoja. Odin High as well, makes sense. I'm very surprised my Bacchus is not 5, but I guess it's because mostly... I feel like I've played so much Bacchus, but I think that's just because of scrims. Bacchus is probably by far my most played god in scrims. Yeah, I didn't get Q. I guess I was not allowed. Unfortunate. I'll probably just wait it out, either way. Might have to wait a little extra though. Oh, is anyone else streaming at the moment? In EU? It doesn't look like Nika played today. What about I Silenced? Is he streaming? Streaming? Who's the highest in EU right now? Me. That's not good. Yeah, barely anyone is streaming Smite 2 at the moment. People be busy on these Fridays. Yeah, it's okay. And the dog's getting hungry. Soon dinner time. Yeah, cold hands and carry. It is definitely tough to play with cold hands at times. Right now my hands are fine. After a while I tend to warm up, but yeah, in my first games it's pretty tough. Even bigger reason for me to probably warm up. I do wonder how long I would need to wait for this queue though. Might be a long wait. I assume Cleano and the gang I silenced. I guess everyone in the last queue probably ended up in that game. What's that one? I do suspect this will be a 10 plus minute queue though. Do we want to wait for that? Got insta power of the second relog. Yeah, I'm guessing I was just too late, I guess. Or my matchmaking was too, or like MMR was too high. Oh, not with any of the higher low people. I mean, that's just good for you, I guess. That just means it's a game where your maybe SR fits a bit better. Because what are you now, Benji? You're like 3,300 or something like that? 32? Alright, I get it. Oh no. I also slapped myself in the face. Damn it. All this dog hair. It's a bit easier to see on pink than it is on my usual black. VOD watchers, skip ahead. I am determined to get one last game in. I am waiting for this queue to pop, but at this point, I will go see if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my kitchen because I'm gonna figure out what the fuck I'm making for dinner, and then at least I can think while waiting. And prepare my dinner at least in some way. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on the queue. One day, this queue is gonna pop. I do think the long queues are better, in my opinion at least, than like the longer queue getting a better game type thing rather than simply just getting a fast game with zero matchmaking involved. That being said, that's kind of what is going to end up happening here. Is going to be me joining with a long ass queue into a game that is probably pretty mixed in matchmaking because that's what it does over time. It will just lessen, lessen what the matchmaking needed to find a game. So I might end up in a pretty low game either way, but where actually is... How's my progress today? I've made 0 progress. Great. I guess I won 2 and lost 2? Is that what happened today? Yes. Yes, it is. On Jungle Thanatos of all things is what I won. Interesting. And oh man, do I need God Builder. I need my minigame. That makes queuing so much easier. If I can just build stuff while waiting. I might actually have to end up setting a time limit. I kind of hope the queue would have popped by now. If it goes past 20 minutes, I'm done. Because otherwise it's going to end up getting too late. Oh, never mind. I used the secret spice of bitching to make it pop. Alright. Let's see if I recognize any names. Well, I do recognize one. I am just gonna ban Fenrir, I think. I shouldn't have banned Fenrir. I should have probably just picked it myself if it was still open. Should have banned Baron instead. What am I picking, man? I could pick the Baron myself, but my main reason for not really wanting to do that is because he's kind of hard to pressure with in the early game in solo. He doesn't really win lanes. He just either stalemates or... dude, it looks like he's going to disconnect over here anyway. That would be something. Yeah, I think he's gonna disconnect anyway. I am sorry, but if this guy disconnects and I don't get an insta-queue in my next queue, I'm just not gonna play. Because otherwise I'm gonna have to wait again. But I'm pretty sure this guy's disconnecting. He's not in the game. Get me in there right now. I'm waiting a minute. I'm waiting a minute for this matchmaking to find me a game. I need to make dinner, man. I also have a dog. I have to shower. Like, I can feel my psoriasis starting to be annoying as fuck. Being itchy as fuck all over the place. I'm on a time limit. And that time limit is mainly built around my insanity. And when I lose it. It says not looking... It's great. It worked. I'm in. Same team, except Maskell is not on my team anymore. I guess I could ban the right things this time. Lucky ban would be good. I appreciate that. What meta is this? Is this the 24/7 release? This Soul Neath Morrigan being hovered as well? What year is this? What month are we in? And Susano being insta-locked. Yeah. I went back in time for this one. Alright, no what took me back to reality. I need Sobek to be released. I'm looking forward to that. Next patch will be nice. It's gonna be nice. Sobek will definitely be an annoying piece of shit to deal with, but I am happy we're getting another god with built-in anti-healing. Because we need more of those. We're getting more and more healers in the game, and we need people to counter those. Bacchus cannot be the only one. And even in that case, Bacchus isn't super great at it. It's like in some cases. I think Sobek is just way better at it. It's much easier to apply. I'm against what now? Chalk? Wild. Need Noah to stop doing whatever she's doing. She's pretty annoying when she does what she's doing. I agree with you. I do need to play more Noah myself. It's been a while, but it's because everything else is fucking horrible to deal with. Dude, what am I against compared to what I'm with? What the fuck is this? Why do I feel like this is really, really unfair? I believe in my team. I believe in you guys. I think you guys win, actually. But I don't know any of you. Not unfair? Okay. I believe you. What am I against, though? Dark on... I guess Masculine and Chalk. It is pretty funny, though. All the junglers were kind of taken out. We played that kind of well. Unintentionally. First picking the Fenrir, and then Susano next. Then all they had to deal with was Mordred and Chalk.
Victory.
Enemy team might be full party. That would be... I mean, actually, yeah. I could see it. I imagine at least two of them are together, right? I'm definitely getting a bad vibe from this game. I can tell you that much. Okay, it is just so it's Chuck Jungle.
Retreat.
I'm dealing with Mordred. Kind of nasty, if you ask me. I would much rather be against Chuck, but at the same time, I would much rather have my whole team be against a Chuck jungle rather than a Mordred jungle. So. Oof. Damn, dude. Fenrir, no extra item or anything like that, can still make it to the third creep. That's wild. That's such a good clear. Very, very good buff clear.
Finally subsides.
He was being kind of aggressive. I'll zone this. I'll be a piece of shit. It's my last game after all. This man's taking poke.
Enemy missing.
I missed. That's on me. I'm trolling.
Set up an ambush.
Enemy missing middle.
You are no match. Been slain. Engine blocked. An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
I don't have tolerance for this today, Dark, alright? If you jump in front of me, I will simply just kill you. Normally I have mercy in my being. Normally I will simply just not want to kill you. But today is not one of those days. If you watch my earlier games, you would understand why I am like this today. Today is not one of those days. It's not an average day for me.
Set up an ambush.
This is one of those days where I have a hard time giving a shit. And I can't help it.
Your left tower is under attack.
I should have taken that. Should have just given that to Susano. I'll give that to him. I need it back. What do I buy, though? I think I buy this. Into something like this. I could have done Mystical Mail as well, I think, but... Don't worry, Zav, I'm on it. It's the third one. It should have been the second one, I just forgot about it. On my way back to the lane, I was thinking about it. I just generally abide more after the buff. Well, we don't talk about that.
Your left tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack.
I'm a last-hitting genius.
Killing spree. Shut down. Double kill. Killing
It's unfortunate, whatever happened there.
slain an enemy.
I might not have got him if he kept running, I'm not gonna lie. I think I would have. Especially if I decided to use Pharaohs as well. That usually helps when you have active items and you also press them. I don't really think that's a pretty good choice. Okay. Now I will say, I hope Dark isn't, like, doesn't have technical issues. And maybe that's one of the reasons why he's not being very serious, but I don't know.
Your left tower is under attack.
True, that is true. There is always technical issues in Mordred. That is... a fair point. I don't like what I'm seeing on the opposite side, though. I'm not gonna lie. A fed intelligence-based need is not something I like to see.
Enemy missing. An ally has been slain. Tower is under attack. Attack. An ally has been slain. Attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Dark is doing a bitch now. Leave lane, leave everything, rotate, kill my whole team, and now this is bad.
Enemy tower. The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Brutalize can't get through this wall. I'll just back. It's too late now anyway. Undo. Let me just buy the full instead. I want wards. I need to rotate and help out more now. Technically, just when it doesn't play jungle. Fair. I mean, yeah. I feel the same when I play jungle. I mean, he doesn't want to play the game, so I'll give it to Susano. I missed on purpose, by the way. Definitely.
On my way.
That's definitely intended. Huh? Ah, beats. Okay. I was like, what? Okay.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh.
An enemy has
Okay.
been slain. An ally has been slain. Defend. Enemies in that lane.
It's been a problem for a long time. The following the backflip on Fenrir. It's really weird. See if I can help out on speed. I really want to go over that wall with Brutalize.
An ally has been slain. Attack, 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 attack.
It's fucking creeps.
Your middle tower is under attack. You have slain an enemy.
Alright, I'm backing off. Berserkers might be a terrible choice for me, actually. I'm not really thinking about boxing very much. Maybe I can turn them to something else. Hmm.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemy missing right.
An ally has been slain. Your left tower is under attack.
Damn it.
An ally has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed.
We gotta attack a bit sooner here if we can. Oh my god, dude. Susano, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here, my friend. That was the freest kill I've ever seen. Uh-oh. I think I know why everything is going wrong. Oh, dude, and you grouped up. Oh no, dude. I'm so sad. Everything you could have played badly, you played it badly. What the fuck, man? What am I supposed to do here? I believe you, Ice Silence. That's the kind of shit you would do, and you would do it on purpose. I believe you. Oh, it's a bit tragic looking at this right now. Dark is gonna win this game, guys. And just for reference, I think Dark is a fantastic player, but I do think he's being a bit silly in this one, giving up. Like at this point, I am just, it's more beneficial for me to stay in my lane. He's my level. He is. That's because every time he rotates, he gets kills. That's the problem. He's doing it a bitch. I said it before as well. He's doing it a bitch. He rotates, kills my whole team, and then suddenly it's my problem. Or like, it's not my problem, but like it's... my team whines at me for it. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? People are just dying on cooldown now. Yeah, I mean, it's not really much I can do about it. There's just a difference in skill, unfortunately.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I'll just make sure he dies at least.
Your left tower is under attack.
Protect me.
Your left tower has been destroyed. Your middle tower is under attack.
It's cooked. Can't even get away from them. Is there something I could build in terms of damage that would help me out, though? I don't think so. I'll go for some brawler, just some spirit rope or spirit rope shifters. Get him. Clean. This could be really good if you guys fight it. Nova can still fight this. You use your minions. Oh, dude, the minion targeting kind of fucked him over there.
An enemy has been slain.
He's blocked. Oh, the minions died. One of those days I can use 2 of my abilities. It's gonna be great. Didn't really think about it, but I do have Ares. It's gonna make my life a bit more difficult going into late game. If he wants this, he can take it.
Enemy missing right.
Yeah, Bibicha is good, yeah. Like, he's mechanically really good. He just, you know, kind of trolls half the time. And I've seen his back end smite too. Let's go, Herc. Kill him. Alright, he should be dead eventually. Oh, Herc. Of all the times you could have just screwed me there. Of course you would. Like, I'm actually cooked. Oh, of course he is. No, Herc actually just fucked me. My own Herc interrupted my brutalize. I'm a little late on cooldown here. My build sucks ass. I should never have bought Berserkers. I should have gone straight into a Glad Shield for cooldown. Yeah. Yeah, he wants food. The dog wants some food. It won't be long until he starts trying to jump up to me to remind me.
The enemy team has destroyed the fire giant.
This game is pretty much over anyway. Like, I feel like Hercules shouldn't be in this game. I could be wrong. Maybe I sound mean. But it seems like there's a skill diff.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower.
No, I feed him twice a day.
Enemy team has
I used to
destroyed
only do it
the
once, and then he would just control himself, but at a certain point when he got older, he couldn't really control it anymore. He just ate all of it at once. That's not really ideal. So now he gets it morning, like, for like breakfast and for dinner.
The enemy team has destroyed the gold fury.
Can I get a pick on someone, maybe? Try to see. I think I can kill Neath or Sol alone, but if they have any backup, I'm dead.
Be careful, middle. I'll attack right lane.
I might not actually be able to kill Sol, not anymore. Oh, good. This is why I have Berserkers. My time is now.
Destroyed a right enemy tower. Your middle tower is under attack.
I'll just back and help him defend.
Your middle tower has been destroyed. Your middle phoenix is under attack.
Okay, dude. Yeah, Fenrir's not making this easy. Or Fenrir, Ares can't even fucking do anything. And what is Herc building to be that squishy? I guess it's just Sol being really fed. Yeah. Ares still at purification after that whole exchange in mid, I guess. Oh well. Turns out doing one more game was a mistake. Who would have thunk? It always is. Alright. That'll be it for today. I need to do chores and shower and take care of my dog. So, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!